Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we look at the current energies, the intuitive insights, and wisdom, and we go as guided. And we're going to jump in because there's so much to cover in an hour. And for everyone listening, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow the Dearjames Facebook and YouTube channels, and so forth. It helps the channels and everything and keeps everything moving. So we thank you in advance. So let's jump into it. Our main energies. It's about letting go of the conflict because we're working with peace, and it's number 11, master number 11. We'll dive into that as well. It's to remember that small restraint, keep surrendering, keep taking the steps to let go. Follow, be led, soul source connection, allow your soul to lead, and then, be the example, set the example, because it's uniting from the inside out. Positive, positive, positive energies and powerful energies. And then let's just take a look at the astrological influences. And this is going to be, we're going to set the stage because we're working, let me just come back here for a second. We're working with, welcome Alicia, with two main energies. The Sagittarius full moon that is occurring today on June 11th, 2025, and Jupiter in Cancer, a longer arc, if you will. It's about 13 months, 12, 13 months. So we're going to talk about these. But first, this was so wild. So with the astrological influences, on the 8th of June, Mercury was conjunct Jupiter at that anaretic 29th degree. And that astrologers spoke about this bang, that it was going to occur with a bang. Well, you can see that bang out occurring on the world stage. A little bit later in the day on the 8th, Mercury entered Cancer. Then the following day on the 9th of June, Jupiter entered Cancer. It's going to remain there for about, again, 13 months. It will retrograde in Cancer, but it will be there. And then on the 11th, today is the full moon in Sagittarius. Now, when I looked at this astrological chart for the Sagittarius full moon, I instantly heard the word PAC-MAN. And as you all know, I read the inner circle of the chart intuitively. And there was just this chomping down, this PAC-MAN. And so let me just bring this up because, it's just, and remember last week was connecting the dots, making sense of the bigger picture. And connecting the dots can be about, connecting the dots in something that's occurring, in a life event and so forth. So Pac-Man. Pac-Man is an action maze chase video game. The player controls the eponymous character through an enclosed maze. And you see little Pac-Man's the yellow little circle with the slice taken out of it. So the objective of the game is to eat all of the dots placed in the maze while avoiding 4 colored ghosts, Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde, who pursue Pac-Man. When Pac-Man eats all of the dots, the player advances to the next level. If Pac-Man is caught by a ghost, he loses a life. The game ends when all of the lives are lost. Each of the 4 ghosts has its own unique artificial intelligence or personality. Blinky gives direct chase to Pac-Man. Pinky and Inky try to position themselves in front of Pac-Man, usually by cornering him, and Clyde switches between chasing Pac-Man and fleeing from him. The game increases in difficulty as the player progresses. The ghosts become faster, and the Energizer's effect decreases in duration, eventually disappearing entirely. The point of this, with this Sagittarius full moon, this Pac-Man, and this connecting the dots, making sense of the big picture, information is going to be consumed. There is going to be, and this is the other thing that came right after that from the unseen. I heard Pac-Man, and then I heard it's gonna be a bloodbath. So this connecting of the dots, and here's Pac-Man chewing the dots, eating the dots. Welcome, Sue. And a bloodbath, a notably fierce, violent, or destructive contest or struggle, a very bad situation in which a lot of harm or damage is caused, a ruthless, indiscriminate slaughter, a massacre. So we don't have to take this literally. What the unseen is saying, and this, by the way, I did this just after the show last week, before other current events that have been coming out, taking place. So this is more notably speaking to how, and Pac-Man is the unseen, the all that is, the master weaver, eating the dots. Because there's this message about, it's our main theme. So I'm going to connect the dots here, but our main theme here is the journey, a quest for truth. And so, and while we're working with these 2 main astrological energies, the Sagittarius full moon, which speaks to truth, and then Jupiter in Cancer, which is a longer, elongated energy. But the journey, a quest for truth. Pac-Man eating the dots is about truth. It's about eating away at the illusions, the delusions, the false narratives, all of this BS. Because we're on a journey, a quest for truth. And quest, it's our key word. A long or arduous search for something, an investigation, act, or instance of seeking, pursuit, search, hunt. A long search for something that is difficult to find, or an attempt to achieve something difficult. You know, the ideal becomes the new reality, the utopian sense of humanity. Quest, a journey toward a specific mission or a goal, seeking something important that involves a journey. So we have this beautiful main theme, the journey, a quest for truth. And the image of the Fushimi Inari. It's the torii gates at Fushimi Inari in Kyoto, Japan. And torii gates at the Fushimi Inari Shrine in Kyoto serve as a symbolic demarcation between the sacred and the mundane, making or marking the transition into the divine realm of the shrine. We're standing on the threshold. These torii gates at Fushimi Inari in Kyoto, Japan, a symbolic demarcation between the sacred and the mundane. That's where we are. We're at this demarcation line, this threshold between the sacred and the mundane. Where we're going, where we've been. The torii gates also act as a visual symbol of Shinto religion, representing the entrance to a holy space. Additionally, the vibrant red color of the torii gates at Fushimi Inari holds spiritual significance, representing protection and vitality. So this is, Sue is mentioning, I've gotten Stephen King's The Langoliers, but Pac-Man works, memorized by today's weekly wisdom. Awesome, Sue. Everything happens for a reason. So this is where we're talking about this symbolic transition, this demarcation between the sacred and the mundane. And yes, I understand, again, I'm living in the same world with everyone else, so there's nothing lost here. What the unseen is saying to us, though, is remember, everything is happening. It was last week. When it's all said and done, there's magic and miracles, and what we are going through is necessary, a necessary component of completion and advance, renewal. So, of course, and then Pac-Man coming along, just chewing up the crud, chewing it up, spitting it out, eradicating it. And so this is the moment that we find ourselves in, and this quest for truth. Because without truth, what's the purpose of life? Without truth, it's meaningless. It's completely a shadow illusion. It's like living upside down. So here we are, the journey, a quest for truth. And I want to start off then, because we have this Pac-Man chewing stuff up, and it's going to be a bloodbath. So everyone be prepared, because, it's like the forces. There's going to be the ghosts, like in Pac-Man, in the game Pac-Man, the four characters and the ghosts and all this stuff. They're all going to be coming out. But they're an illusion or an obstacle, air quotes, obstacle, opportunity. But Pac-Man, the unseen, committed. Source, committed. It's going to chew it all up. Okay. Astrologer Chani Nicholas. This is the weekly issue number 70. This week brings massive blessings. In a world on fire, we now have a once-in-12-year protective force gifted to us. Jupiter enters Cancer today, and that was back on the 8th or the 9th of June. And it will stay there for the next 12 months. In this sign, soft power abounds. This big mother energy is a direct challenge to crash out oligarchies, constant catastrophe. It's a tsunami of care, a fire hose of feeling, a rushing into the streets to protect our neighbors, our communities, and our kin. Jupiter in Cancer signals a time of healing what hurts in our nations, in our cities, in our relationships, and in our families. It reminds us that the abundance is granted to us when we become a channel for this energy to flow through. It's about becoming, being in the right lane, on the right side of history, being unite with your soul source connection. This is where the flow is. When we risk our status, our access to power, and our resources to fight for the dignity and rights of those around us, we become fortified by our actions. It means when we stand up and do the right thing. And again, we can do that peacefully. We can do it proactively. We can do it loudly without being offensive. But it's about speaking truth to power. It's about standing up for it. This is Jupiter in Cancer's greatest teaching. On Wednesday, that's today, we're also met with a full moon in Sagittarius that's ruled by Jupiter. This moment sparks a wild, creative fire. Let yourself dream bigger, bolder, and beyond. This is the time. Remember, God created you for more, and your time is now. So this is the time to imagine our way out of the problems that persist. By all means, seize the day, but also remember to fill up your tank. The end of the week has more plot twists up its sleeves. What was so interesting about this is, number one from the unseen for this week was and interesting, and then in parens, emotional, so something that could be emotional for us. An interesting, quote, twist of fate, a twister. And here, Channing Nicholas is speaking about the end of the week has more plot twists up its sleeve. So there's more to come. There's a lot more, but there's an interesting or an emotional twist of fate, this twister. And so, and the unseen is saying, don't get a twister. It doesn't mean get caught up like a swirl of cotton candy or a twister. It's the force. It's the twist of fate. It's the things turning on a dime. And to be open, and it may be emotional. It may be emotional for us or for you, depending on how it's going to be different for everyone. And yet there will be universal unity in things. All of it advancing us, moving us forward. So as we look at our main theme again here just for a minute, the journey, a quest for truth, I want to go to, this is from, it's the truth card in the Patch Tarot cards, the Holy Arcana. The truth represents the fundamental truth that unifies and connects all things in creation. The infinite sea of possibilities from which all manifestations, even the light, emerges. From the void, let there be light. This is simply the concept of infinity. However, the concept of infinity only exists in the presence of the awareness of it. The relationship between consciousness and infinity is what allows for contemplation of the ultimate and supreme truth above all truths. It's seen through the illusions. It's breaking down barriers and obstacles and illusions. Delusion. The appearance of the truth in a reading is a call to bring awareness to what is true, and even to bring a voice to this truth at the very least so that one may know it to be true themselves. The upright key, speak, indicates that for the truth to be heard, it must be spoken and shared. It is in the resonance of the truth shared with others that we receive the power of the word. We're responsible for what comes out of us, whether it's spoken, written, or comments in social media. But this upright key of speak indicates that for the truth to be heard, it must be spoken and shared. Don't perpetuate lies and falsehoods and, do your homework. Don't be so quick to share something if it's not true. I shared something recently and came to realize it wasn't true. I deleted it. We got to be responsible. It's about being proactive and being responsible. Continuing with the truth from the Patch Tarot cards. The name Ein Sof translates to infinite or boundless. You'll see how that comes up in number 4, a cosmic bang from the unseen. So remember this. The name Ein Sof translates to infinite or boundless. You might conceptualize this as the very notion of infinity, the never-ending eternal potentiality of creation. Welcome, Olivia. Which hath no beginning and no end, and even precedes the light which emerged within this infiniteness. The truth seeks to identify and bring awareness to the infinite and supreme truth, which may be described as 0 equals 1. We're going to be talking about quantum physics, zeros, ones. We'll be back to that. Something came from nothing, and nothing is everything. In fact, we cannot even comprehend nothing because the very word nothing is something that we are using to describe a concept that simply cannot be known. It's the vastness. It's the all that is. The imagery truth depicts, zooms out once more to reveal a greater truth. In the oneness of everything, we are perpetually and infinitely connected to each other. We know this. It's a bedrock of spirituality. Unity, oneness. We are all one. In the oneness of everything, we are perpetually and infinitely connected to each other. What we do to one, we do to the other. What we do to the web, we do to ourselves. Here, there are two more expanded fields connected to and surrounding the original Merkaba field, which synthesize and harmonize together. They're in reciprocity. They're in union. Sharing energy and radiating it out as it is received from the truth of connection. It's not our division. It's not our separation. There is none. That's an illusion. It's a delusion. So what we do to ourselves, we do to others. What we do to others, we do to ourselves. It's the truth of connection, the journey, a quest for truth. The upright and reverse key are speak and silence. Again, mirroring the same pattern of yin and yang of potential actions we may take surrounding the concept of truth. This means, are we speaking truth or are we hiding the truth? Speak or silence? Do we know the truth and we fail to say something? Do we hide the truth? Are we actively in our shadow element? So the upright and reverse key are speak and silence. Again, mirroring the same pattern of yin and yang of potential actions we may take surrounding the concept of truth. This card speaks towards our own truth and honoring what is true in our lives, both for ourselves personally and what can be assessed as a universal truth. Upright, its key indicates speaking this truth and bringing your voice to the truth so it can be known and shared by all. It's about speaking truth. The truth, not a truth. And in that sense, individually, it's about speaking our truth. What's true for us? Setting boundaries. People only treat us the way we allow them to. So we set a boundary. No, that's not okay for me. That's speaking your truth, a truth, your truth. But then there's universal truth as well. So this is about speaking truth to power. It's about the quest for truth. In reverse, this card indicates being silent with the truth and holding and resonating it internally. For it may not be the best time to speak the truth yet, but allow it to be fully known inside before bringing a voice to it. It's what I was just saying about doing our homework, being accountable, responsible. But it's also making sure that when we know the truth, we don't withhold the truth, or we don't perpetuate falsehood. In conclusion, we must be reminded then when pairing these ideas together, Ein Sof with truth, that there are an infinite and boundless number of things we can say, whether they are nonsensical or filled with deep intrinsic wisdom. And ultimately, it is in the ability to listen that we truly learn what is true and what is not. We've got to hear. We've got to listen to the truth. We've got to be quiet. You got to quiet the monkey mind, the ego mind personality, to hear the soul speak, to hear the wisdom of the unseen, the truth. This is perhaps the greatest secrets behind truth. It is in the silence that the action we undoubtedly take is to listen. I want to just go to this before let me finish this. In this reception, we may discern and weigh concepts against each other to comprehend their value and see where they fit in relationship to each other. This is the beautiful quote. The truth speaks for itself. So while we're this truth, while we're in silence and we're listening, in this reception, this is where we can discern things. But the truth will speak for itself. It always does. It always has. And the phrase, the truth speaks for itself, implies that a truth is so clear and evident that it doesn't require further explanation or proof. It suggests that the facts are self-evident and readily apparent to anyone who observes them objectively. Keyword is objectively. When we simply don't take sides, we lay down the mask, the identities, all these communities, and this is my team versus their team, and yabby. When you lay all that down, and you simply allow the truth to speak for itself. It's apparent, it's self-evident. It's readily apparent to anyone who observes issues, aspects, events objectively. So there's a massive message here from the unseen, the journey, a quest for truth, and this simultaneous connecting the dots, making sense of the bigger picture, and then Pac-Man, it's going to be a bloodbath, eating the dots. Eating them, not hiding them, eating them to eradicate them, to remove them from these obstacles out of our way. Why? Because like in the game, it's about leveling up. And each time we succeed, we level up. Well, we're at the threshold of leveling up. And so we have to remove the crud that's in the way. The deceptions, the illusions, all of these things, the lies. So now let's move to, this is from moonomens.com, full moon in Sagittarius, toward uncharted territory. On June 11th, today, a full moon in Sagittarius illuminates the night. This illumination, happening at 20 degrees 38 arc minutes of the sign of the Centaur, offers us an invitation to embrace authenticity, commit to honoring the truth of who we are, and move toward uncharted territory with faith. It's number 2 from the unseen, truth, faith, and justice. Let me just bring up this beautiful image of justice. Here she is. She has the sword cutting through, cutting to the truth and the scales of justice. She's empowered. It's divine feminine. It's Lady Justice, Lady Liberty. She has the tools and the wisdom. See, she knows. She can look at something and just say, yes, I understand the truth. The truth. So it's truth, faith, and justice present themselves hand in hand, walk hand in hand for all to see and receive. So truth, faith, and justice are going to present themselves hand in hand. They're going to walk hand in hand for all to see and receive, because this is the journey, the quest for truth. Moon omens. So we are being asked to let go of our attachment to old narratives and outdated beliefs and commit to following the path that is true for us with devotion and determination. There's a beautiful saying about the definition of suffering is attachment. So we are being asked, this full moon in Sagittarius, we're being asked to let go of our attachment to old narratives and outdated beliefs and commit to following the path that is true for us with devotion and determination. In Sagittarius, the moon is on an ongoing quest for meaning, truth, and expansion. With the moon here, our urge to search for answers to the big existential questions takes center stage. The intuitive function of the mind is emphasized, and the spotlight goes on the need to discover who we are, why we are here, what our purpose is, and why we are the way we are. We just spoke about this in last week's show. What's at your center? What's the big picture? Connecting the dots, making sense of the big picture. Because we're not here to go through this rigmarole and chaos and madness, and it's purposeful in the sense that it's showing us the height of the shadow of the previous era. We must face it head on. We must see the truth. No taking sides. Sometimes the truth, it's messy. It's not fun. But wouldn't you rather have the truth? Because the truth allows you to stand on solid ground, where lies and illusion and deception and all of that, it's just like quicksand. There's nothing that allows you to be formidable and continue in such a empowered way. The Gemini-Sagittarius polarity, because the full moon, the sun is in Gemini, the full moon is in Sagittarius. So the Gemini-Sagittarius polarity is all about learning And this full moon in the sign of the Centaur reminds us that sometimes, to keep learning, we need to release our attachment to what we think we already know, to what we feel certain about. It's about change. It's about evolution and transcendence. It's about letting go. Remember, everything just moves through us. It's energy. So we're not meant to hold on to things or stop time. While Gemini relates to our close environment, our everyday surroundings, and short distance travel, Sagittarius is all about distant cultures, foreign places, and unfamiliar lands. See, it's about, and look what's playing out with immigrants around the world and nativism and all of this stuff. And here the Sagittarius full moon. So Gemini relates to what's close, our everyday surroundings, short distance travel, and Sagittarius is about distant cultures, foreign places, and unfamiliar lands. It's exposing us to what we don't know, what's not familiar. It's allowing us the opportunity for empathy and compassion and growth and understanding. It's all well and good to understand ourselves, the community that we live in, or the family we come from, or the geographic region. However, that's so fine, it's so limited. There's a vast world, 8 billion souls on a planet, on Mother Earth. We have this great opportunity, all fractals of the divine. Can you imagine just being one note? One chord? What about the rest of the symphony? What about the rest of us? The divine us? That's what this full moon is talking to. Truth. The full moon is an invitation to expand beyond our comfort zone, move toward uncharted territory, and search for answers in unfamiliar places. During this time, we have an opportunity to see in what ways we may unconsciously keep ourselves small, stuck, or hold ourselves back from growing in new directions. There's comfort, there's air quotes, comfort in, playing it small. But then we're leaving so much. Life's a banquet. It's from Auntie Mame, the movie Auntie Mame, Mame Dennis. Life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death. Well, it's because there's so much more. The world is vast. We are vast. The opportunity before us is vast and growing, consistently evolving, ever changing. And so this is this opportunity. During this time, we have an opportunity to see in what ways we may be unconsciously keeping ourselves small, stuck, or holding ourselves back from growing in new directions. We are being challenged to notice where we may be excessively attached to our beliefs and assumptions. This full moon emphasizes the dangers of identifying with ideologies and clinging to fixed ways of thinking and seeing the world. These days, there is a restlessness in the air, an urge to aim at something greater, bigger, and more expansive than what we are used to. Because we've been there, done that. We're moving forward. The full moon in Sagittarius stimulates our desire for adventure, action, and growth, challenges us to embrace radical authenticity, what's at your center, truth, faith, and justice, walking hand in hand together, and invites us to commit to being true to who we are beyond external expectations or outdated identities. We've been talking a lot about empty the vessel, let go of the masks, the identities, the labels, the scripts, the stories, all of this gunk that corrodes, covers up who we truly are. During this time, we are being asked to connect with something greater than ourselves, with a greater purpose, a greater vision. We are being asked to recognize where we may confine ourselves to narratives that are keeping us caged and have an opportunity to dare to write a more meaningful story of our lives, for our lives. The Sagittarius full moon is an invitation to reclaim our freedom, reclaim our voice, and reclaim our role as leaders of our lives. This is quintessential divine, feminine, matriarchal, Aquarian era energy, truth. This event The Sagittarius full moon reminds us that meaning is not something we find. It is something we consciously create, something we choose to create and cultivate every day. It's our choices. It's the power of our choices. It's number 3 from the unseen. Nurture what is true. Nurture what matters. Within, without. When we nurture what is true, what really truly matters, from the inside out, it ripples. That energy, remember, everything's energy, so it's going to magnetize that energy back to us. And true, in accordance with fact or reality. Genuine, real, authentic, pure. So when we nurture what is true, we're nurturing what's in accordance with fact and reality, truth. We're nurturing what's genuine, real, authentic, pure. It's not happy hooey. It's not something that we're making up. It's not fear. It's truth. The truth speaks for itself. So now let's move to, we're going to go to hexagram 11, and it's master number 11. And hexagram 11 is peace. And I just want to bring in this really quickly about the master number 11. In numerology, the master number 11 is considered a powerful and insightful number representing intuition, spiritual growth, and a bridge between the physical and the spiritual. Like the Inari gates, we are talking about that threshold between the spiritual and the mundane. Here's number 11. It's a bridge between the physical and the spiritual realms. It's also known as the illuminator or spiritual messenger. The 11 is twice the energy of the number 1, the creative force, so it's doubled up. But it's also influenced by the sensitivity and intuition of the number 2, the receptive. So we got the divine masculine and the divine feminine in unity, in harmony, in oneness, in balance, resulting in a balance of strength and empathy. So here, hexagram 11 is peace. Its action is relax. Everyone take a breath, take a beat, take a pause. By all means, show up. However, it's like if anyone's watched the movie Gandhi and read the story, when India was seeking its independence from the British Empire, there's a scene in the movie where the people of India are walking up and the British forces are there. The Indian people have no weapons, they're silent, but they're protesting. They're protesting in peace. And as they're doing this, the British forces are beating them. That was the turning point of their liberation, because what the world saw was the excessive force, the oppressive force of the British Empire against the people of India, the citizens of India, that were protesting peacefully. The power of peaceful protest, of silence, is deafening. So again, we don't need to yell and scream. We certainly do not need to be vigilantes. We simply need to rise, allow our presence, our silent presence, to radiate, to speak truth to power. This is from Carrie Hone at cafeosoul.com. Heaven is below earth, and all things move upward in harmony and transform. Peace is a message about going with the flow. What you are worrying about today won't be as important tomorrow. Anything that had previously been out of place or difficult is now receding. PAC-MAN, it's eliminating it. However, there is still an element of change occurring. This change, however, is permeating the situation and might be difficult to grasp because you are being coached to discover rather than overlay experience with past assumptions. See, peace. Peace isn't looking to the past for answers. Yes, it's wisdom. We can certainly look to the past for wisdom, for understanding. However, equally or more vitally important is, what does the present moment, what are the present energies? Because they're completely new and different. This is uncharted territory, as Good Omen or Moon Omen spoke to. This is uncharted. So we're wanting to look to the energies of the present future and not overlay our experience with past assumptions. A period of stagnation is transforming into growth and openness. We've been there, done that. And so we're having to let go. We're having to face the old. Peace is the image of moving harmoniously with the flow of events. All weak elements are forced to take their departure as the two great forces of yin and yang come together. This is our quote. Pardon me, sorry, I lost my place. Here we are. In life's relentless pursuit of a better way, anything that would block its forward progress must take its departure. See, this isn't about going backwards. That's not what this is. And that's what there are world leaders and forces that are cleaving and clinging to the old, wanting to rewind the clock, wanting to take humanity backwards. But true to point, the arc of destiny moves forward. And so here, I'm just going to bring it up again. In life's relentless pursuit of a better way, anything that would block its forward progress must take its departure. It's Pac-Man. It's chewing it up and spitting it out, removing those dots, those obstacles. Our mantra, within me lies an invincible sun. We have the force and the fortitude and the grace and the strength to rise and meet this moment with peace, clarity, truth, faith, and justice walking hand in hand, presenting themselves hand in hand. Because the truth speaks for itself. The truth speaks for itself. So now let's move to Astrology by Lauren. She's speaking to Jupiter enters Cancer. And then she begins with a quote by Nelson Mandela, who's the former president of South Africa and the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made in the lives of others. Shirley MacLaine said if I've been here before and I'll be here again, she's speaking about incarnation or multi-incarnation, reincarnation. So if I've been here before and I'll be here again, what I do now matters. Well, to Nelson Mandela's point, what counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made in the lives of others. What's our legacy? What do we leave behind? What's our karma? What are we accruing? We want that to be pure, to be good. Doesn't mean perfect, but it means good. Conscious, conscientious, empathy, compassion, goodwill, lifting ourselves up, lifting others up. Astrology by Lauren. On June 9th, Jupiter enters the sign of Cancer. This is where Jupiter is exalted, allowing it to reach its fullest potential. And in turn, the sign of Cancer welcomes Jupiter's lofty visits every 12 years. Cancer, a sign of great fertility, of pregnancy, fecundity, and potential, gives Jupiter a lot of room for growth and expansion. It magnifies everything it touches or aspects. And it is within this atmosphere of potential that the planet of freedom and justice thrives and attempts to expand its influence into the world at large. Cancer is a sign associated with women, the mothers, with families and communities, as well as their traditions. It is a sign associated with home, the homeland, and the ancestors. Jupiter traveling in the sign of Cancer aims to expand the very definition of these so that they are more inclusive, more global, and perhaps ever more universal in their scope. When Jupiter enters the sign of the Great Mother, he aims to hold us all and asks us to do the same in kind. See, we're in this together, as above, so below. And so we have this beautiful ability to expand our awareness, our understanding, our inclusivity, unity, not community. Unity transcends community. We are all one. Unity means one. Community can denote hierarchy, division. So unity transcends community. And yet, look, unity is within the word. Cancer has an association with family and with heritage, but it is also about connecting to our deep emotional roots, whether that be our common bonds, our sense of belonging, or our sense of identity. It is also about who we go to when we look for emotional support and security. One of the first, the soul relationship, the soul relationship we have, we enter this life with it, we exit this life with it, is our soul, S-O-U-L. So here, this is speaking to an astrology by Lauren. She is speaking to where we go to get that sense of belonging. Go to your soul source connection. Go to source first, then to others. On June 11th, we have the full moon in Jupiter ruled Sagittarius, further expanding on the Jupiter and Cancer concept of the global family held within the cradle of the mother's arms. See, it's Mother Earth cradling 8 billion souls, humanity, and it's about expanding this concept of the global family. What does it mean? And then expand it further. What does it mean to be in reciprocity with our brothers and sisters, our fellow others, souls, the discarnate souls that are the unseen, other realms? It amplifies, it opens us up in ways, and there's no reason to be terrified or scared of what's unknown. Just be humble. Humility goes a long way. Humility endears you to others. Aggressive acts repel. Therefore, leading up to and illuminated in the light of the full moon, celebrate Jupiter's entrance into the sign of Cancer. Cast your dreams into space and render practical service to others, that they too might thrive within this global family and community we call home, unity. Mercury entering Cancer on June 8th escorts Jupiter into the mother's embrace. Perhaps this is an opportunity to return to her, to reflect on your past, your history, as if you were revisiting an old movie you saw long ago, but now are given the opportunity to observe from afar and without judgment. Welcome, Colleen. And she's saying, hopefully it makes a difference. Yes, because this is all about, you see all the influences of the Divine Mother here. This Mercury escorting Jupiter into the arms of the Divine Mother, the Great Mother. And that we're being given this opportunity to reflect. Because, of course, when we think about nourishment, divine feminine, emotions, empathy, compassion, they create unity, not division, unity. That's the journey, a quest for truth, connecting the dots. What's our place in this bigger scheme, this bigger picture? It's not that we're just some individual human set down somewhere on this planet Earth doing X, Y, Z. That's on the surface. It's everything that's under the hood, so to speak, that originates from the unseen, from the soul. That's what matters. It's number 4, a cosmic bang. They had me change this whole year. When we look at the astrology, the astrological chart, it's always at the top. It said for this year, 2025, it said a big bang. The unseen changed it, a cosmic bang. And cosmic is inconceivably vast. So they had me change it. Number 4 is a cosmic bang felt round the world, exceeding the threshold, surpassing a significant boundary or limit in space or related to cosmic phenomena. So we are at the threshold, we're standing on it. It's the Inari gates that are speaking to this line between the spiritual, the unseen, and the mundane. So there's a cosmic bang that's going to occur, felt round the world. We're exceeding the threshold, surpassing a significant boundary or limit in space or related to cosmic phenomena. And I'm going to come back to finish up with Astrology by Lauren, but she said, and then I heard the word stardust. It's number 5. 5 denotes change from the unseen. Stardust. We are stardust. Stardust. Moving beyond, quote, the known into the unknown. And then I heard Star Trek, Enterprise, Starship Enterprise, quantum physics, divine God strand, divine DNA, the God strand. We were talking about what was termed junk DNA and dark DNA. No, it's divine DNA. It's the God strand. It's number 42. And so, in quantum physics, and I'm going to come back to Astrology by Lauren, quantum physics, also known as quantum mechanics or quantum theory, is a fundamental theory in physics that describes the behavior of matter, or matter, physical, and energy at the atomic and subatomic levels. The study of matter and energy at its most fundamental level. It aims to uncover the properties and behaviors of the very building blocks of nature. While many quantum experiments examine very small objects such as electrons and photons, quantum phenomena are all around us, acting on at every scale. Quantum is the next iteration. One could say scientifically, we've understood basic physics, mundane physics. But quantum physics, and this is where those zeros and ones, a quantum object can exist in multiple states simultaneously until it's observed. That was what truth, that piece about truth is speaking about. Until it's observed. For example, a quantum bit, or the truth of the truth, like the greatest truth about being observed. For example, a quantum bit, a qubit, can be 0, 1, or both 0 and 1 at the same time. We're going to exceed, we're at the threshold, we're going to exceed where we've been. This is that geometric recalibration they were talking about a few shows back. This is what the unseen is talking about. So it's going to flip this all on a dime. And thus, yes, we have to face all of this goo because we have to empty the vessel. We have to empty the collective vessel. We have to face it. Without facing it, well, it doesn't belong. It will not go into the new. It cannot go into the new. So we are in this process of facing it. Continue with Astrology by Lauren. Perhaps the most important function of Mercury escorting Jupiter into the sign of Cancer are the connections we can make with each other, the connections we can make with ourselves, with our soul source connection. Soul, ego, mind, personality, human. So perhaps the most important function of Mercury, how we think, how we communicate, how we speak, computers, electronics, Mercury escorting Jupiter into the sign of Cancer are the connections we can make with each other. There is meaning, strength, a sense of shared spirit and belonging. Therefore, in honoring our roots and sharing these with each other, whatever and wherever those roots may be, we are asked to embrace us all when Jupiter is in Cancer. It's to see the very best in humanity. It's to see the very best in each of us. When we place our time, our money, our effort, our voice, our energy in our unity, in our discovery of the unknown, what is it that you bring as this fractal? What is it that you bring? What wisdom? What divine wisdom and knowledge? It's a game changer in terms of how we experience ourselves, each other, and the world, the whole of the whole. because we remove the shackles. We remove the chains that bind us to receive something greater, something true, pure, nurture what is true. She also has another quote by Nelson Mandela: "For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others." One would say the freedom of all. When we respect and enhance the freedom of all, everyone, we all win. That's a win-win. When we oppress, whether it's ourselves, whether we're doing it to ourselves or we're doing it to others, that's a no-win. It's purposeful, but it's a no-win because everything's purposeful. We learn through challenge, which is opportunity. Astrology by Lauren, she continues, the first major aspect that Jupiter makes as it enters Cancer are the squares, that's a confrontational aspect in astrology, are the squares to Saturn and Neptune in Aries. There is a conflict arising between the stern individuality and defensive posture of Saturn, because remember, Saturn's got to get used to this new, and Neptune in Aries. And the Jupiter in Cancer need to embrace all, to raise all, and to benefit the greater good. Because Saturn, the great teacher, has shifted signs now. It's now in Aries, so it's got to learn the new. We have to learn the new. We spoke about this in the last show. Saturn, Neptune is asking us to make certain sacrifices, but Jupiter will test us to either stay the course or to recalibrate as we consider, is the sacrifice worth it? And what are those things that are worth fighting for, putting yourself on the line for, and those that are not? Jupiter is bringing a whole new perspective, and the full moon in Sagittarius is magnifying and amplifying all things Jupiter in the process. Jupiter has domain over morals and ethics, over things like education, our beliefs, as well as those who serve our educators, teachers, and guides. These can include our spiritual and religious leaders, our professors, our philosophers, judges, and advisors, as well as the institutions that they serve, such as universities, like how universities are in the public sphere right now, spiritual centers, religious institutions, their doctrines, and courts of law. All of these are in frontline news. When Jupiter is in Cancer, it expands on these and approaches these not only from a place of faith, but based on what is just right and for the greater good of everyone concerned with the community and beyond, with unity and beyond. Jupiter represents our big vision and hopes for the future, and as Jupiter moves into Cancer, those hopes become perhaps more personally invested. And as it squares Saturn and Neptune, it could feel like something related to home, family, country, the homeland will need to be renegotiated, revised, or perhaps even be challenged for us to have the freedom to fulfill our highest dreams. We're seeing this on the world stage right now playing out before our very eyes. This feeling about home and stability for foundational country, homeland, that we stand up, this peaceful rise, and speak truth to power to fulfill the freedom of our highest dreams. From astrobutterfly.com, one really great thing about this Jupiter in Cancer transit is that Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. This means Jupiter feels as its very best in the sign. Jupiter's exaltation in Cancer might not seem immediately obvious. Why Cancer? Why the sign of Cancer? Cancer is equated to safety, Jupiter to expansion and abundance. However, when you think about it, the link, the causality is there. The more we feel safe, the more we allow ourselves to grow. This is why there's fear and intimidation and chaos going on, because they're trying to maintain the status quo, the previous era. But it's over. So, however, when you think about it, the more we feel safe, the more we allow ourselves to grow. We give ourselves greater permissions. Someone who doesn't feel safe will never feel truly ready or confident enough to take risks because their energy is tied up in survival. But when we have that inner foundation in place, we can stretch beyond our comfort zone. This is to know that the unseen, Spirit, Source, Symphony, the all that is, God, Allah, Buddha, however you ascribe to the unseen, to a greater, higher power, they've got us and are advancing us, moving us forward. Jupiter feels good in Cancer because its energy works best with growth. When growth, Jupiter, is paired with safety and nurturing, Cancer. In Cancer, Jupiter expands whatever we choose to nurture: our home, our family, our inner world, our personal projects and investments. Everything that is meaningful to us. Nurture what is true. Cancer is a water sign. It's about emotions. And Jupiter brings abundance. Together, they create a fountain of emotional and creative richness. In its Cancer exaltation, Jupiter helps us birth what's meaningful to us. In 2025 to 2026 and beyond, the world is increasingly favoring those who dare to follow their personal dream, to challenge the status quo, to stay true to themselves, and make a real difference from the heart outward, from the heart, from the soul, from the heart outward. Passivity will no longer be the path. Aries, with Neptune and Saturn there, is a cardinal sign. Cancer with Jupiter is a cardinal sign. This cardinal sign means they're the actionaries of the zodiac. This is a call to get out there and dare to care, dare to grow, and dare to create something new, starting from what matters most. It's starting from your heart center, from your soul source connection. That's what matters most. Because all the other things, the material things and the masks and identities and labels and titles and, trappings, and you don't take that with you. You take your soul with you. You take the journey, a quest for truth. That's what you take with you. It's what you came in with. It's what you will leave with. It is in ancient Egypt, the whole mot weighing your soul against the weight of a feather. What was its truth? What was its purity? What is its goodness in what it just experienced? This is what we're being called to. This is a statement. It's a quote, but statement by Oprah. Use me, God. Show me how to take who I am, who I want to be, and what I can do, and use it for a purpose greater than myself. This is about, and remember, this Aquarian matriarchal era is the inverse of where we have been. It is about putting the ego, mind, personality, the human, in service to the soul, to your soul source connection, to the unseen, to the divine. It's the inverse of where we've been. And once we understand that and we accept that and we unify and align with that, Jupiter and Cancer energy, it's just going to multiply and expand because we're in the right lane. We're in the flow. We're meeting the moment. Couple that with that cosmic bang, this geometric recalibration, this quantum physics, that stardust, we're moving beyond the known into the unknown. Starship Enterprise, Star Trek. And they concluded, the unseen concluded, number 6 from the unseen this week is The Great Awakening. It may be the title for the show next week because there is this, and it's 6 is about spirit and service. All of this is culminating for this great awakening where we literally quantum leap forward. We transcend. In order to do so, we have to face the truth of the past, of where we've been. It's Master Jesus. They were asking, Rabbini, where are we going? And he said, you ask where you're going without knowing where you've been. We have to face these ugly truths about how we have individually and collectively, and it's not about self-flagellation and beating ourselves up and everything, but we have to face where we've been in order to know where we're going. And that involves emptying the vessel. facing hard truths and moving beyond them to receive something greater. So do so, like our mantra, within me lies an invincible sun. Within you lies your soul source connection. You have everything you need. You've got this. We've got this. And I just want to conclude, because it's too, to coin the Lady Jacqueline, it's too juicy to not get it in, is there are three hexagrams, three Sabian symbols for this Sagittarius full moon occurring today. The first one is the sun, a tumultuous labor demonstration, the revolutionary impact of mental concepts upon the collective emotions and desires of man. We're seeing this play out. Protests, peaceful protests. This sets the stage for a tumultuous process which may lead to a new approach to the problems resulting from individualization, separation. Oh, the I, instead of we the people, we. The repressed or oppressed instincts stage an emotional outburst, Jupiter in Cancer. Emotions, creativity. Jupiter, great benefic, magnifying and amplifying. So the repressed or oppressed instincts within stage an emotional outburst claiming their due. They want to keep you divided. They want to keep you down. They want to keep us unconscious. But within us is an eternal sun. And that's our soul source connection. That's source. Jupiter, the Sabian symbol, and this is Dane Rudyard in Astrological Mandala. Jupiter. On a ship, the sailors lower an old flag and raise a new one. A radical change of allegiance exteriorized in a symbolic act, a point of no return. We see military being utilized. This is lowering an old flag and raising a new one. This is about reorientation. This is in a decisive act heavy with consequences. The symbolic youth might realize that they should bring to an end their ideal of something to change it, to improve it. So it's reorientation. It's about expanding. So where I've been limited, I, me, changes. There's something greater on offer. And the example in the Jupiter symbol is military. And lastly, but not least, and this one is just phenomenal, Mercury's escorting Jupiter into Cancer to the Great Mother. At a railroad crossing, an automobile is wrecked by a train. The tragic results which are likely to occur when the individual's will pits itself carelessly against the power of the collective will of society. So an individual going up against the will of we the people. The automobile symbolizes the individualized consciousness eager to pursue its own course of action, regardless of how it may conflict with the collective consciousness of the community, the train. The symbol implies that at this early stage of the new process, which began with the seventh scene, all such individual and relatively anarchistic or law-defying attempts are bound to fail. So let me get that out again. All such individual law-defying attempts are bound to fail. The driver may live, but his car will be wrecked. This is PAC-MAN. It's going to be a bloodbath. Lest we consider this phase totally negative, we should realize that most of the time, man learns his lessons through relatively destructive experiences. It's reactive. We're reactive, not proactive. The via negativa of the mystic, or even the strange occult or wisdom concept expounded in some sects of salvation through sin. One may speak here more generally of karmic readjustment. This will become evident as the next fivefold sequence is considered. We're at this moment where the individual going up against the collective their automobile gets taken out, gets hit by a train. They may live, but this is karmic readjustment. This is Pac-Man. This is the journey, a quest for truth. And this is about nurturing what is true and what matters. So please, as we move forward, raise your voice. Do so peacefully. If you haven't watched the movie Gandhi, please do. It's an incredible film, and you'll see the part that I was talking about. And that speaking truth to power, when people, masses, the collective shows up, not destructively, proactively, purely. It's a force. It's a deafening force to be reckoned with. I love you all. Thank you all so much for being here. We will see where all of this takes us and where it leads next. It's going to be quite interesting, but remember, we have both the full moon and Sagittarius energies playing out, and we have the Jupiter and Cancer energies playing out. And coming up, Jupiter is going to square Saturn first in Aries, then Neptune in Aries. There's a lot going on. So just stay humble, stay calm, stay pure, but stay empowered. Until next week, we'll see you then. Be well.